All right. This is the story of Iron Eagle and the cookies. And oddly enough, it also features Larry B. Scott, who was shouting canoe instructions from the banks. In this case, there's a scene in which we're basically, in the movie, the kids are trying to steal this military stuff, and so my father, we're trying to hack into his computer, we're trying to distract him with cookies and snacks, and me and Robbie Rist, I think it was, and I'm in there, and it's a tiny little room we're shooting in, and so we're cramped in there. And the director, Sidney J. Fury, he was a great director, but he's been on edge because he's on this diet, so there have been a couple of moments where there's, you're looking for lunch and you hear Sidney screaming, "Where's my broccoli? I'm directing a $20 million movie and nobody can bring me broccoli!" And so there was an edge, but we were having a good time. But this scene we're going to shoot. Now, the prelude here is that I'm being very actor-actory, and I decided the thing to have in the scene is Oreos, because we can do hand business by, twisting the Oreo and eating the cream, and it's stuff to do. And so I think that's a great idea, and so do the other actors. So one of them Jerry goes to get Oreos for me. He gets in his car and goes down to the store. In the meantime, we go into the shooting room and we start shooting. The cookies that they've got, it's so stupid. The cookies that they have are those kind of stripy chocolate cookies from the Keebler Elves, that dip on the bottom, those that have a hole in the middle. And on the table, they're there in chocolate and caramel. Well, the actor playing my father is allergic to chocolate. And so they give him a chocolate cookie for the rehearsal, and he doesn't eat it. And, he intended, I suppose, to I don't think so, because nobody would ever think of it as stupid. But he just got the caramel coated one for the second, we're actually going to camera. So now we're here in this little room with Sydney and Dad and me, and camera stuff coming down on us. And we're playing the scene, and Dad's eating the cookie, and all of a sudden we hear, "Cut!" And there's a silence. And Sydney says to Bill, who's playing my dad, "Bill, are you directing this motion picture?" And Bill's like, "No, Sydney, you are. We're all very glad you are. You're Oscar-winning director. What?" He says, "Well, do you feel like you can make decisions that ought to belong to other departments or the director by nature?" "Well, no, of course not. I'm an actor. I do my part." "Well, then why in the bleep, would you just pick up a different cookie of a different color and change it like that? Who the hell do you think you are?" Bill is sitting there just crumbling, and Sydney is yelling and screaming and blowing a vein. And he's saying, "Yeah, I wish I could send you back to LA right now. I wish we were shooting in a foreign country so I could put you on an airplane this morning and send you home with no pay." And he's screaming, yelling. One by one, the crew is leaving the room. And eventually, we get down to just Bill and me and Sydney screaming, and the director of photography sitting there, who was a genius, going, and it went on and on and on. And it was this thing, of so what was it? What was it made you think you could just go up and make it a choice? That obviously people have picked these cookies. People have selected these cookies. Now I'm sitting here and suddenly I go, Jerry Levine is about to bring me Oreos. Onto this set. Any minute now he's going to walk in with them. And so there's an AD in the door, and I'm like this, and he comes over, and I just whispered, because it's like this thing, there's a screaming match going on. And I said, "No time to explain. I was thinking about using Oreos in the scene, and Jerry is going to come with Oreos. You need to put people at the gates of the set." and stop those Oreos for the sake of this motion picture. And thank goodness they did. And so we're in there screaming and yelling and screaming and yelling. Finally, we finished the scene and Bill was basically thrown out as if he had come and defecated on the set, which was, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Sydney was being crazy. And so, all the scenes with Dad were cut. And then I walk outside and there's Jerry Levine and Larry B. Scott and everybody else going, why exactly did all the security crew come down and they're after Oreos and they confiscated the Oreos from me? I couldn't bring you Oreos and they said that was you? They said you said stop the Oreos, stop the Oreos? I told the story. They were like, oh my goodness. Because if those Oreos had come on the set, I don't know what would have happened. I mean, it's not just that I would have been exactly in the same place Bill was in, because it would have been a whole different level. What I had done is actually sent somebody, I had sent an actor. There's actors sitting around like, oh, I'll go, but in Sydney's mind, apparently, it would have been I chose to send an actor to run for a prop, to replace this prop in this motion picture, as you kept calling it, without the art department and the set dressers and the director had, it's the same cookie that he used, but the caramel stripes instead of the chocolate stripes. And eventually at a certain point in the scene, Bill said, Sydney, I'm allergic to chocolate, and if I eat chocolate, I won't be able to continue working. You'll be taking me to the hospital. I don't give a beep! You should have told me that, and we would have decided which cookie, as if the cookie, mattered. I mean, I definitely felt free earlier in the day to say, now, with the Oreos, it was a big deal, because I was going to do twisty and hand them to my dad and everything, so I would have come in with the Oreos and said, can we do this? And they might have said, we don't want it to be a recognizable brand, or blah, 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 or I hate the idea, or I'm the director of this motion picture, you learn your place, or whatever, but, it would have been discussed. But, so that was the time I, almost lost my career over an Oreo.